Welcome to Woman, Conversations in Black and White. I'm Bernadette.
And I'm Linda. And we are covering the ability to talk about racial sensitive topics across racial lines.
Yes. And we would be remiss. Right now, we're about 6 days from the presidential election. And I don't know how you're feeling, Linda, but literally it feels like all of life is weighing on this next 144 hours and how all of this is going to go down. Now I'm 45, and so I've been voting a fair amount of time. But this election here has, to me, been the weightiest election I've ever participated in thus far.
Yes, and I will say that I've had a lot more elections than you have, and this is the weightiest election I've ever participated in also. It feels like more is at stake than ever before.
Now that says something. Yes, that says something. Yes.
And
wow.
I think about my parents a lot. They're both gone now. My mother actually passed away 1 year ago today. This was the day. At 99 and a half, but my parents were activists in their own way. They were peace activists during World War II, but they both would have considered this the most disturbing and weightiest election that they had ever lived through also. So
wow.
It's the election of a century, maybe even 2 centuries. So.
It is. And you've already done your part. You voted early.
I voted early. For emotional reasons as well as physical reasons. And there was a small line when we voted, like 30 or 40 people, and I hear that same voting station the lines are up to 100 or more now, ahead of time, in advance.
Wow.
Yes, wow is right.
Okay. I have not voted yet. I'm going to vote on election day because, like I've told you, I'm scared to death that the early ballots will be lost or that the building will burn down or something. Something will happen. And so I have taken a half day of vacation from work and I am going in person on election day. For me, that just feels like I need to be in line on election day. Yeah.
I understand that. And I'll tell you what, if it's any comfort, there's lines all over. There's lines now, there's lines that day. And
I've never seen lines like this. Have you ever seen lines like they're showing everywhere?
Yeah. No, I never have. And I've never seen lines in advance voting. I mean, I've done very little advance voting, but I took my mom to vote in advance 2 years ago or maybe 4 years ago. And there were 30 or 40 people there. So there was something, but nothing like now. So,
right. Like I think Georgia, they've been in line 11 hours for early voting. 11 hours.
Wow, for early voting.
Yeah, for early voting.
So, there's a lot of strong emotions involved in this election, and I think what I plan to do on election day myself, since I've already voted, is support other people.
Okay.
And both my daughter and my daughter-in-law are working the polls that day. Okay. They're working from 4:30 a.m. to about 9 p.m.
Yes.
And it's a very long day.
Yes.
They're braced for that. And I said if I could support them and their families in any way, I would be willing to. And other than that, I'm going to try to maintain my own inner peace, since that has something to do with all of this too.
Yes. Now, I was not alive pre-civil rights movement and Voting Rights Act. So this has been the first time in my personal recollection where I have seen active voter suppression for marginalized populations, for Black and brown people. And I remember reading about it when I was in high school and in college, but to actively see it in present day has been astounding. The lengths that some have gone to suppress some people's vote has been absolutely astounding. And what has been even more astounding in that is how people have counteracted that. Like, I think his name is Michael Bloomberg, how he has raised millions of dollars so the residents in Florida who had previous convictions with the law to help pay off their fines so they could vote. And so it's like these, I almost feel like we're coming to a huge crescendo, because it's like both sides are doing all that they can to do all that they can. I've never experienced anything like this before in my life.
I agree. And truthfully, I have to look at it from a spiritual perspective too. This is not fundamentalist religion that I'm looking at it from. This is a broader picture, but it's all happening. I've never seen a voter suppression either. Perhaps I was just naive, but also in the days before social media, those sorts of things were not very often making national headlines.
True.
And in my part of the world, it was pretty white bread and pretty peaceable, and there wasn't much voter suppression going on there. Everybody just voted. But I know it's been there, and it's just that it is, it's being exposed now in a very, very distressing way to anyone who cares, and a very blatant way to anyone who wants it that way. It's like,
right,
the way it's supposed to be. It's like, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. And it's almost as if humanity is having to decide, well, which way are we going? Is it supposed to be this way, with white supremacy always in place and held in place and locked in place? Or is it supposed to be something that we've said we believed, but we actually haven't tried to live?
Yes.
So,
you just sounded like the perfect Joe Biden commercial. You could have been on a you could have been in an ad.
Oh, well.
but
okay,
but that is,
if I tried too hard, I would lose it. But yes, I got it. So.
But I think that is true. You know, when he says we're fighting for the character of the nation, there's like, I think it's the difference between the millennials and, as you say, just everyday well-intentioned white folks waking up and realizing, hey, this isn't the America I thought it was.
Right.
I don't like that. And I want to do something so it can be the America that I thought it was.
Right.
And so, so I think it's that, and young people are showing up in the millions. They are actively participating in what they want the country, they want the country to be. And that is so good to see. That is so good to see.
And,
yes.
And yes, there are black and brown and queer young people, but there's also white young people that are doing this too. And that makes me happy. It just makes me really happy. And I was particularly happy that independently, both my daughter, who's full-time employed, and my daughter-in-law, who's just off of 7 months of full-time childcare, because the children went back to school.
Yes.
And she volunteered to work the polls too. So they're both doing it. And I just thought, oh, wow, what a day that's going to be.
Yeah. Yes. It will be a monumental day. And not only that, you bring that up. Women are a huge play in this election.
Right. Precisely.
Yes.
Precisely. And they're probably not all voting for change, but I have a hope that a lot of them are.
I'm with you on that. I think a lot of them are as well. I think you have the anniversary of the women's suffrage movement. And honestly, society has changed quite a bit with women. And to be as tone deaf as our current president was, saying, I'm getting your husbands their jobs back, when literally like 700,000 women have had to leave the workforce to care for the children because of COVID. 700,000 women.
Right.
So the effect that's going to have long term, that's almost 1 million women who are no longer in the workforce.
And will want to go back at some point.
Yes. And so, this is a huge shift there. I mean, because there's already the lag in pay for women. And then if we have that many having to do a mass exodus, how much will that impact us? Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So literally every single thing there is to vote for is on the ballot.
Is on the ballot. Right.
Is on the ballot this year.
Right.
I don't think we're going to know on Tuesday. I really don't. Hopefully by next weekend, I think it'll be determined, because many states can't even start counting until day of.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of that, because they can't release the numbers. And,
right. Well, they can't even open the ballots until day of. And some of them, that's
right.
their state law. And so how to maintain, because November 3rd won't be it, maintaining some semblance of calm and normalcy
Right.
until it has been called. Yeah, because I have felt anxious, I have felt antsy, all of those things, and I've never felt that before ever for an election. It's like, okay, either he'll get in or he won't. It'll still relatively be okay. No, I do. I do not have that blasé attitude about it at this point at all.
There's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake for many people and some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll check in again next week.
We'll wait and see. So remember, if you've enjoyed our conversations, please like, comment, and subscribe. We will do our best to get videos posted every week, but we wanted to talk about this because this is huge for all of us right now. So we wanted to give a nod to honestly where we're at, because that's what we do. So we hope to see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for checking in.